All right, we are live, and I double checked the audio this time, so we should be good. But guys, recently I got this comment on one of my videos that says, I'm 27 years old and just getting into investing. I currently have $42,000 saved. I'm in the military. I have no debt, no car payments, and no children, so very low overhead. How much do you think I should put into stocks? Anyone's insight would be appreciated. I also pay about $600 every month for rent. So we're going to go through this, and we are going to figure out the best approach to deploy this $42,000, which is a nice chunk and change. But before we get into that, guys, welcome to another Dividend Happy Hour. I'm so stoked to be back with you guys for another week. You guys know how we kick these things off. We got to do it with a quick toast. So here's to the yield. Here's to the growth. And you guys know how the rest goes. Here's to that sweet, sweet cash flow. And also here's to you guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm happy to see all of you. Let me know a couple things here in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. Number one, what are you sipping on tonight for the Dividend Happy Hour? I actually got these backwards. Number one, what are you sipping on? Number two, what did you buy this week? Which stocks did you pick up? And also, number three, I have a third question for you guys tonight. Did you guys, any of you hit any milestones in your portfolio? Anything crazy happened this weekend? Hit a cool little income milestone? Maybe you got your first $100 month in dividends, or maybe you hit a certain benchmark in your portfolio value. Maybe you hit six figures or anything like that. If you hit any sort of milestone this week, I'd love to hear about them here in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. I'd love to put some of those on the screen and celebrate your guys' accomplishments there. But while you guys are submitting all that, I want to just go through the live chat real quick and say what is going on to Sean, to Kevin, to Wing Addiction, to Charles, to Pat, to TCAF, Luis, Rick is here. We've got Shamir. Who else is here? I already said Charles. Big E is in the building. Big Bad E. We got Chris here. Anthony's here. Fabio, Brian, Adon, Amadou. We got the other Chris here. I don't mean to say the other Chris, but you know, there's multiple of you guys in here tonight. Brad's here. We got Amar. Fast Machine Media. Colin's here. Steven. Mr. Peepers, Senor. Steven, Kitchen Prep, ASMR. We got Ray, Eli, Jason, Benny. Good to see all you guys. Let me go through and see what you guys are sipping on. I think I already said this, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'm sipping on a little coffee tonight. Had a pretty fun day. I'll tell you guys about it maybe later. But I'm also just drinking some like flavored water here, so staying hydrated. I actually had a couple margaritas earlier today, which once again I can tell you about that later on in the stream if you want. But let's see, what are you guys sipping on? So Fast Machine sipping on a Diet Coke. Brad has a Grim Virgin Blonde, lovely, cold, and tasty. Good stuff. Chris is drinking some coffee, not unlike myself. Just woke up coming off the night shift. Okay, good stuff, man. Colin's just drinking some water and picked up some Williams Sonoma. Love to see that. Steven drinking some Mountain Dew and started a position in BAM, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Brookfield Asset Management? Is that what that is? Let's see here. TCAF with some cherry soda. Picked up some Medifast, excuse me. I almost said Medtronic. I've hit 25K in the portfolio. Good job, my friend. That's pretty awesome. Let's see here. Steven and Mr. Peepers are drinking some water. Kitchen Prep's drinking some OJ. This is interesting. Jason's drinking some this is whiskey. So Penelope Barrel Strength Neat, also invested in Vici and SCHD. Good pickups, man. Good stuff. Benny having a Miller High Life, bought some AbbVie, Realty Income, and Vici. Nice little shopping spree there. Let's see. Chris actually has 2 energy drinks, and my first one is Ghost Red Sour Patch. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Let's see here. Anthony, drinking some Athletic Greens. How is that? That's I see their advertisements all the time. So how is that stuff, Anthony? And picked up some United Health Group, T. Rowe Price, and SCHD. Amadou's rocking with some O all day. All about that Realty Income, getting those monthly dividends. Andy here has a nice little milestone to reach $75 per month on a $14,000 portfolio that he started less than a year ago. Man, that's awesome. That's some really good progress in not a long period of time. So, dude, keep up the great work. That's awesome. Let's see here. Melanie, well, Brad says happy midsummer day and night. Melanie's drinking IPA and bought some Williams Sonoma in Starbucks. Good pickups. Very nice. Let's see. Dominique says, cheers. Your comment on analysis paralysis resonated last week. I finally opened a position in Maine. Well, I'm glad that one had an impact on you, Dominique. That was something I was certainly affected by, and so I'm glad to hear some of my gibberish helped you as well. Dennis here says he's drinking a cold one, a tall cold beer, and bought some more Realty Income Vici and SCHD. Steve drinking a Pepsi and bought some VYMI. Very nice. Let's keep going here. Oh, wow, this is nice. Lou says hit over $2,000 per year in dividend income. Very nice, Lou. That's great. Let's see here. Kevin is sipping on a Diet Coke. Didn't buy anything and no new milestones. Just a sweet week of boring dividend growth investing, as it should be. So good stuff, Kevin. Good to see you tonight. Let's see here. Thomas drinking some Dr. Pepper Zero. Dr. Pepper's, like, Diet Dr. Pepper's really good. I haven't had Dr. Pepper Zero, but I got to say Diet Dr. Pepper's historically been one of my favorite diet sodas. He bought some ARCC, some Aries Capital. Let's see. Oh, this is cool. Tyler is drinking some, what is that? Yuangling? I'm probably mispronouncing that. But Tyler bought some SCHD and VU and is about to hit $100 in dividends this month. Good job, Tyler. Good stuff, my friend. Chris says, wait, which one is the other Chris? I don't know. There's a couple of Chris's. You could be the other Chris. Chris, a.k.a. Kama, could be the other Chris. I'll let you guys decide who the other one is. Who's the real Chris and who's the other Chris? Let's see. Kevin is, he's doing what he does best, drinking Bush, $25 each in all those different stocks right there. Got to get the money in before the ex-dividend date. So good stuff there. Oh, this is cool. Adon says, I got some SCHD this week, and apparently last week I passed the $1,000 mark for dividend income this year. That's nice, Adon. Pouring some wine now. It's been a day and need to make dinner. Good stuff. Congrats on hitting $1,000 in income this year. I was just looking at my portfolio right before I went live, and I think I'll definitely get it in July, but I'm about $60 short of being at $1,000 for the year. So, Ray says, I know we do in dividends, but you seeing this craziness in Russia? No, I haven't seen what's going on, but let me know in the live chat what craziness is happening. Let's see here. Let's go through a couple more of these, then we'll get into the main event, which for those of you who are just now joining, it looks like there's about 140 of us. I got this really interesting comment, which I'll put on the screen again, I should say, before we get into it. But basically, this individual has over $40,000 to invest and is wondering where to put it. Well, I'll show you momentarily. But real quick, guys, Lucas drinking a Coors Light, Kim Poi drinking a Pina Colada, Todd with a Liquid Death, good stuff. I wonder, just kind of a random thought. I wonder how long until Liquid Death comes out with flavors. I could see them. I don't know. I'd be surprised if they didn't get into some sort of like flavored water or something like that. Maybe I'm tripping, but I could see it happening. Let's see here. Dividends. Timothy says drinking water. Dividends 4 of 7 days. 4 of 7 days. Okay. More 3M, AAP for a strong comeback. Okay. Yeah, Eli says, how about that Kroger dividend growth? Very nice. I think it was over 11% was the raise, if I'm not mistaken. So Joey says, hey, Ryan, so glad I made it tonight. Drinking a LaCroix. Roast me. No judgment, my friend. Drink whatever you want. So I don't have any qualms with LaCroix. So me and LaCroix are currently not beefing. Big E is sipping on Stone's Delicious, I think he means IPA, added MSW. I don't know what MSW is. You guys will have to help me with that. Snap-on, Owl Rock, and United Health Group. Okay, good stuff. Let's see. Wow, Shaping had a really nice purchase this week. Picked up $5,000 or maybe even 5,000 shares of NSA. I don't know. Which is like national. I think they do government buildings. I could have that wrong. But let's see here. Michael says he is working and watching the happy hour. Unbeatable combination. I hope this is helping pass the time for you a little bit quicker. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Look at this, guys. Alan, in addition to sipping iced coffee, which is which is wild, blowing my mind. Alan dropped $12,000 today. Crazy. On Realty Income, BT Properties, and Charles Schwab. Good stuff, man. That's crazy. Good for you. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Let's go through like maybe one or two more of these and we'll get into the main event, okay, guys? Let's see. I know Slow Potatoes not miring me right now. Doesn't know Yuangling. I'm sorry. I'll have to Google it later, but I have not heard of that. So I hope it's good for you though, or I hope it tastes good is what I mean. Hope you're enjoying it. Let's see. Ex-Dividend Dad, who I thought was gonna be out of town. Maybe you're going out of town in a couple days. Maybe I have that wrong. I'm drinking Dividends, $213 just today. Dang, man. That's crazy. Oh, and then TCAF says Liquid Death already expanded to flavors. Mango, lime, raspberry. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Endless, thanks. It's a great investing journey. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, guys, how about we get into tonight's main event, and then we'll get through that so we can go over to some Q&A. But so anyway, for those of you who kind of missed this at the beginning of the stream, I got this question in one of my recent videos that says, hello, I'm 27 years old and just getting into investing. I currently have $42,000 saved, and I'm in the military. I have no debt, no car payments, and no children. So how much do you think I should put into stocks? I've got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money to invest into stocks. It's currently just sitting in cash. He says, I also pay about $600 a month for rent. So this individual is sitting pretty right now. $42,000 is a lot of cash, a lot of quiche, a lot of cheddar. And he's wondering, where do I invest this? Well, and obviously there's so many things that one could do, which we'll get there. But first, I think we need to talk about what not to do and how you shouldn't go about deploying this money. So the first thing not to do is don't invest it all at once. At least I don't think so. I don't think you need to take all $42,000 and just immediately dump it into the market. Instead, I think you'd be best served by deploying those funds into the market a chunk at a time and dollar cost average your way into the market. And what that's going to do is it'll help smooth out any bumps in the market that may occur, bumps or hiccups that may occur week after week. As we know, things have been pretty up and down lately. So by taking it a bit slower and not just dumping everything in there, you're going to smooth out those returns as you move those funds from cash into equities. I think that's going to be a good thing. And you can do this at your own chosen speed. And this is a lot of money to do it. And so let's say hypothetically you could do like invest $1,000 a week. Well, if you're investing all $42,000, which I don't think you should do, and we'll talk about that in a second, but if you're investing all $42,000, it's going to take you, if you're doing a week, $1,000 per week is going to take you almost a full year to get through that. If you double that up and go $2,000 a week, it'll take you probably just under half a year. Still a decent amount of time, right? What is that? Take you about 20 weeks. So maybe about 5 months, I guess, is what that would be, right? Yeah. $3,000 a week, which is still that'd be sweet. I wish I had that much to invest. That'll only take you a few months. If you invested $3,000 a week, 3,000 divided by, 10 weeks, 12, 13. It might take you about 13 or 14 weeks. So maybe about 3 months, a quarter of a year to get all of those funds into the market. And so once again, just take it at your own pace, whatever you feel comfortable investing. Since you are just starting out and you're just getting the ball rolling with investing, just getting your feet wet, it might be better to start off a bit slower. Maybe start with even $500 a week, even something on the lower end, just until you kind of get comfortable and get in the routine of deploying these funds in the market and get a feel for some of the ups and downs that come on a daily basis. And they've certainly been coming in the last couple of weeks, guys. I'm sure you're the same too. I've seen my portfolio go from being super low to being at all-time highs, and now it's coming back down and kind of getting lower again. So it's been all over the place, which is why I'm saying, just do it a chunk at a time, smooth out those returns. So that's the first thing not to do. Don't invest it all at once. The second thing is, I wouldn't invest all of it in general. It sounds like your monthly overhead is very low. Like you said, you've got no debt, no car payment, no kids, nothing crazy. You're in the military, so you may potentially be deployed, or maybe you're living on base, whatever it is. very low overhead, not a lot of expenses, which is fantastic. Your biggest expense, from what it seemed like in that comment, was just your rent, which is only $600 a month. That's still pretty nice, So you're sitting pretty, like I said earlier. But I think it's always a good idea to keep some cash on hand, just for a rainy day or for any of the unexpected curveballs that life likes to throw at you. Things happen, things happen all the time, and you never know what's going to happen. But when it does, you want to be prepared. So I wouldn't invest all of that money. I'd keep some of it in cash. And once again, this is going to be at your discretion, how much you want to keep in cash. But, and others, you guys in the live chat, are probably going to have a different opinion. But I think $5,000 or so seems like a nice amount, just based on your expenses, based on where you are. I think $5K is a nice round number to keep in cash. You could do more if you want to. The more you have, the more, I guess, margin of safety you have in case things do go wrong. The more emergency savings is never a bad thing, but you don't need to keep a huge chunk of it in cash. But anyway, let's say hypothetically you did just keep $5K in cash. That'll leave you about $37,000 to invest. But anyway, that's the second thing. So number one, don't deploy it all at one time. Number two, don't deploy it all in general. Keep some cash on the side. Keep some emergency fund. And number three, this one's an important one. Don't dump it all into high yield stocks. You're 27 years old. You've got all the time in the world to let your dividend snowball grow and compound over time, which begs the question, guys, now that we've talked about three things not to do, three ways not to spend this money or invest this money, how should we go about investing this? What's the best way to do it? Now, obviously, there's an unlimited amount of ways you could invest. You could go just buy individual stocks. You could just go ETFs. You could do a hybrid approach. But since you're just getting into investing, for the sake of simplicity, I would just start with ETFs. It's not the most exciting thing. It's not super sexy, but it's effective. It's easy, and I think it's a great way to get your feet wet and get a feel for investing, especially since you're just starting out. I think it'd be a really good way to go. And there's a lot of really great ETFs out there, which, in case you're not familiar with those, ETFs are exchange traded funds. And it's basically just a big basket of stocks you can buy at one time. By buying into just one of these ETFs, you're getting exposure to usually hundreds of different companies. And there's a lot of great ETFs out there like DGRO, VIG, obviously SCHD we like to talk about a lot, VU, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. So there's a lot of good ones. There's a ton of other ones in addition to the few I just named. But once again, to keep it simple, I'm going to share what I think is a really unbeatable combination. It's just SCHD and VU. Don't overcomplicate it. Okay, with VU, you're basically getting the returns of the S&P 500, which have historically been pretty delicious. And with SCHD, you're getting a nice dividend income boost with really generous capital appreciation, share price growth, and also dividend growth. So I really think you're getting the best of all worlds. And just to give you an idea of what this sort of setup might look like, let's jump over to the internet real quick, and we are going to look at the marketbeat.com dividend calculator and see what a portfolio just with these two funds, SCHD and VU, will do, over the next, we're going to use 23 years. So you're 27 right now. In 23 years, you'll be 50 years old. We've kind of got the scenario built in here. So starting with $37,000, remember, guys, we're going to keep a $5,000 emergency fund. With a 50-50 split between SCHD and VU, you're going to have a starting yield of about 2.5%. I'm going to anticipate an 8% dividend growth rate into the future, and I think this is a respectable dividend growth rate, share price growth rate. So share price appreciation, So 7% plus 2% dividend yield, that gives us a 9.5% return. Some of you guys might say, Ryan, that's too high. You need to be more conservative. Others might say, Ryan, it's too low. You need to go up. I think we could do 8 or 9% share price return. But this is what we're going with, guys. This is what we're going with. And we're going to start off, we're going to look at a few different examples. But starting off, we're going to see what this looks like just from investing $100 per week into this portfolio, which is $5,200 a year. So we're going to hit calculate dividends right here. Just make sure you guys can see that. We're going to scroll down, and at the end of those 23 years, okay, by the time you're 50 years old, just doing this, starting with $37,000 into this SCHD and VU split, $100 a week. By the end of that 23rd year, you'll be bringing in almost $19,000 of dividend income, which is, it's about, that's somewhere over $1,500 every single month in dividends, which isn't too shabby. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to live a super lavish lifestyle on that, but an extra $1,500 a month certainly helps. And I know, guys, 23 years down the road, I get these comments all the time. $1,500 is going to be like $50. It's nothing. It's like, I get it. Inflation exists. Okay. I'd still take an extra $1,500 per month. I wouldn't complain about it. And then your portfolio will be valued at just over $675,000. So not too shabby. And you could even take this portfolio, which according to this will just have just over a 3% yield. You could always reinvest this into higher yielding assets, which would generate a higher cash flow return. So you could take this and get more dividend income if you wanted to. But let's scroll up and say, let's say maybe we do $150 per month. So that'd be $7,800 per year. We're going to kick it up a notch, invest a little bit more every single week. We can afford it. We've only got $600 in rent. Everything else, we're stacking that cash, so might as well deploy a bit more. After those 23 years, your income goes from about $18,000 up to $24,000. So you're getting just over $2,000 of dividend income coming in per month, which is, still, you're not gonna have a fat fire. You're not gonna be like, I don't know, you're not going to be driving around in a Rolls Royce or anything, but extra $2,000, can't complain about that. And your portfolio value will be looking quite nice, about $870,000. But once again, guys, let's scroll back up and say, you know what? We're going to hit it hard. We're going to do $200 a month, which would be $10,400 per year. I'm sorry, I mean $200 per week, not per month, excuse me. And at the end of 23 years, you'll be bringing in just about $30,000, and you will have a $1.06 million portfolio, which once again, this isn't the most amount of income, but you could take this portfolio value and liquidate it and reinvest into higher yielding assets. Maybe even put it in real estate or something like that. Who knows? Or maybe you just decide, you know what? Jeppy's been crushing it the last 23 years. I'll just reinvest it into Jeppy. You'll get a much nicer cash flow return than this. This will probably double or possibly even triple. So there's ways to make this work in your favor. There's certainly room to increase if you're going to only have a 3% yield after 20 or so years. And obviously, the more that we increase this number, this annual contribution, the more income you'll have at this point in time. So anyway, that's kind of, let me go back over here. That's how I would go into the market. That's what I would do with these funds. Just kind of a recap. Don't invest all of it at once. Don't invest all of it. Keep some emergency fund. Keep some cash just for whatever happens. Life's crazy. Don't go all into high yield. You can let the dividend growth do its thing. And be patient. Enjoy the ride. Keep it simple. And obviously, too, just on the topic of keeping it simple with that in mind, if you start doing this with the ETFs, if you go the ETF route, remember you can always add individual stocks on top of that. If you want to sink your teeth in a little bit deeper, and if you want to expand beyond the ETFs and have a little bit more input in your portfolio or spend a little more time in it, you could always invest in individual stocks. So that's always an option too. So many different ways to slice it. You just have to decide how involved you want to be. Which the longer you invest, the more clarity you have around that. You'll get a pretty good sense of how involved you want to be. Some people just don't even want to think about their portfolios, or just, I'll invest in it every week, I'll reinvest the dividends, but I want this thing to grow out of sight, out of mind, in the background of my life while I'm doing other things. So there's others, some crazy individuals, I'm one of them, who I'm actually kind of between the two, but who like to pick their stocks and who really enjoy the stock research process and have kind of made a hobby out of this. And so as you get going, you'll find out where you are on that spectrum. But anyway, I want to put it back on you guys on the topic of financial freedom. I want to put it back on you guys and ask you, how long do you have until you reach financial freedom? I'm curious to know. Let me know this in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. How long until you can either live off dividends completely or can maybe do like a barista fire where you go part-time at work and you can take a step back and use some of your passive income and maybe get kind of a low-key job that you don't have to think about, something super basic. Let me know. There's different stages to financial freedom, but let me know, how far out are you? I'm curious to know where everyone's at on their journey here. So let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling up through the comments. Looks like, so I hid the comments as I was going through my spiel here. I hid the comments and I noticed I missed like 100 comments, which is crazy. That's a lot of interaction. So I'm just kind of seeing seeing what I would seeing what I missed here. Yeah, I see some good comments in there. But anyway, I want to pull up some of your guys' responses to my question here. So Ray says, I have 20 years and 5 months left of work. Okay. Hopefully it comes sooner than later for you, Ray. I missed a couple comments, actually. So I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back up here. Oh, I missed quite a few comments. Wow. Here we go. Wallet Invest, 20 years ahead of me. Ex-Dividend dad, same boat, at least 20 years. Luis says Lean Fire set for 2027. Wow, 4 years, Luis. That's great, man. That's great. Chris has about 12 years. He's 48, plans on... This is either the real Chris or the other Chris. I'm not sure at this point. Plans on financial freedom at 60. Matt says, if I move to rural Pennsylvania or Thailand... which rural Pennsylvania is considered the Thailand of the United States, ironically enough. He could retire today. Hero of the table, 15 years. That's not too bad. Lucas, 30 years. TCAF says probably 50 if I keep my investment per year. Okay. I don't know if that's age 50 or 50 years down the road. I'm guessing it's age 50. Robert says 3 years. Wow. That's great. That's right around the corner. Matt also says if I wanted to stay in Houston, probably another 5 years, which once again, man, that's really not bad. 5 years is not bad at all. Fabio says 20 years. Okay. Yeah, Nate with some really sage advice here. Just take 100K and bet it all on black or red. If you can call it 5 times in a row, you can be a millionaire tomorrow. Yeah. You know, stranger things have happened. I don't know that the casino would let that fly, though. Let's see. Big E says, I hope only 10, but probably 15. Yeah. Anthony says, I'm just getting started. I got 40 to 50 years. Okay. Sean says 20 years. Eli, hopefully 15 to 20. So that seems to be kind of the norm between, usually it looks like a lot of you guys are around 20 years or so. Melanie says, I passed it a few years ago. I have a military pension, rental properties, and dividends and interest. Wow, that's awesome. That's fantastic. OJ says 1 year. Wow, that's impressive. Wing addiction. I plan on being financially free at 55. Probably currently has over 18K in the Roth and 21K in the dividend portfolio. Nice. Surfside Daz next September. Wow, good for you. Anthony here, at least 20 to 25 years. Ben, this isn't bad either. Maybe 10 years. Trying to get my savings rate up. Yeah. Let's see. Wing addiction, about 20 years. Ren says, I'm 13, which awesome that you're watching this, only 13 years old. I don't know when I would retire, but I love investing, and I've already invested 1K in stocks. Dude, good job. Good job. That's incredible. Thomas, already at financial independence, could pop smoke at any time. No plans to stop anytime soon, though. Working on financial independence for the kids at this point. Thomas, that's awesome, man. Good job. That's incredible. Let's see. Derek, 15 years. That's not too shabby. Rick says, I started too late and will probably not ever really get there, but it is not stopping me from trying. I like the attitude, Rick. Keep it up. You never know, Rick. You never know what could happen. I mean, that snowball effect is a pretty powerful thing. And, you know, even if, I don't know how old you are, Rick, but man, even if you could get to a point where you're bringing in an extra couple hundred or few hundred or even $500 a month in dividends, which really isn't too far out of the picture for a lot of people. In the after party live stream, which I'll be doing after this dividend happy hour ends, which if you guys want to tune in, there's a link to it in the description. But I'm going to be reviewing a portfolio for someone who just has over six figures in their portfolio, just about $120,000, I think, somewhere in there. And they're already bringing in just with $120,000, which is a lot of money, but it's also very doable. They are already bringing in over $500 a month in dividends, and I just like, That's awesome. And it's, you know, you're not going to retire off that, but that's the and I've said this before, you guys will have heard this. The more that your passive income grows with each contribution, with each new little increase to your annual dividend income, that's just a little bit more weight off your shoulders. And, you know, you probably won't be able to retire off an extra $500 a month, but it's going to help, right? It's a huge help. Huge help. So something's better than nothing is the point. Journeyman says 18 years. It's not too bad. Slow Potato, retiring in 30 years. Willie, 15 years maybe. It's not too bad. Ren says 60 years at age 50. That's not bad either. Good job. Let's see. Thomas, I get my pension at 55, which is about $3K, but will probably work until about 59 and a half or 60 or 62. Nice. Let's see. Let's keep going. Manuel, 10 years. It's not bad. Let's see here. Keep going. Stop working. Michael says, I really don't want to stop working. I own 2 businesses and I'm also growing my dividends. Yeah, and I think that's great. And, you know, when we talk about retiring or financial independence or financial freedom, obviously that looks different for everyone. I guess, and there's so many different names for the same thing. We call it retirement, which when people think of retirement, they think of just kind of sitting around with a margarita on the beach and just kind of being a beach bum or a couch potato or just kind of being idle, you know? And I don't know, maybe retirement's kind of an antiquated term at this point, because I think a lot of us shared the same sentiment, where we'll maybe stop working our normal job or something like that, but still plan to do things like, Michael, you know, you've got your businesses, and I'm sure you have fun doing it. It's something you don't ever want to stop doing. But I guess when asking the question, I more so mean for those who have a normal 9 to 5 or so, when you plan to stop doing that. Excuse me. Let's see here. Keep going. Patrick wants us all to buy Jeppy and JepQ, my king. Thanks, Patrick. I do have some Jeppy in the portfolio. Not a huge position, but got about $1,000 invested in there. So let's keep going. Ex-dividend dad, that yield is super high if it is 6K. It's actually it's just under 5%. It really wasn't too bad. I don't know if you'll tune into the after party tonight. I thought you were on vacation. But yeah, it was just under. This portfolio is really interesting. The yield is just under 5%, and he still has a decent amount of high growth dividend stocks in there. So it's a really nice balance between high yield and high growth. So let's keep going here. Tommy, 7 years to go. Adding stocks not included, such as included in SCHE, such as BDCs and REITs. Nice. Mr. Zach Attack, this is an interesting question. Do you ever wonder or ask yourself if the way inflation is going and how I really want to know the rest of this question because it seems like an interesting one. I'll come back to it, Mr. Zach Attack. If you can finish that thought, I would love to come back to that question because this is something I think about. Inflation is something I do somewhat think about. On here says, I hope I pronounced that right. Maybe Anne. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. You can always earn more money, but you can't earn more time. We have finite amount of time on Earth. Don't forget to enjoy life as well. Yeah. Well, I think that's why we all do this, right? I think that's why we all are so gung-ho about investing into our portfolios because it's just having that freedom. It makes life so much more enjoyable. You're not confined to or restricted to doing things. You're not, I don't know, you just have the freedom to move and do what you want when you want, and that can be a really great thing. Ray says, I want all the bad news. Please crash the market, Ryan. I want more opportunities. I am with you, Ray. I'll make a call this weekend. I'll see what I can do about that for us. What do you mean by this, Big E? Yeah, well, what do you mean? So, but yeah, Mr. Zack Attack, I wanna hear that thought about inflation. So let me come back to it. Do you ever wonder or ask yourself if the way inflation is going, Anthony, freedom? I thought we just wanted to be rich. Nah, that'd be nice too. It'd be nice too, but I know for a lot of us, it's not as much about the Lambo. Maybe not for Matt, who's constantly got Lambos on his mind, based on the comments I've seen from him. Um, it's not so much about that. It's just more about buying back your time, kind of like Ann was saying. But I know you're joking around, Anthony. Okay, here we go. So, ever ask yourself with inflation if stocks down the road aren't the best and maybe expanding into crypto with the gains you can possibly make it in that industry, we will switch to digital currency. Yeah, I don't know. I truthfully don't know enough about crypto to have a real serious opinion on it. So far, it doesn't seem to be quite the store of value as it's been made out to be. Seems like it's going back up lately, though, from what I've been reading in the headlines. But I really don't keep track. I really don't pay much attention to crypto at all. So I'm really not the best person to talk about it. But in terms of digital currency, this is something this is something I think about too. And I only see, like the bad outcomes of digital currency. Whenever I see something about digital currency, it's never anyone saying something positive about it. It makes you kind of scared for that. And once again, I'm probably not the best person to be speaking on it, but I don't know. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about the whole? What do you guys think about switching to a digital currency? I don't know. There's a name for it, like the Fed dollar. I don't know what they call it, but what do you guys think about that? Does that scare you at all? Do you see positives? Do you see any positives to it? What are your thoughts on that? Derek says, do you consider financial freedom and wealthy to be the same thing? I would say so. I think to be financially free, you have to be wealthy too, at least in terms of, with real estate too, any asset class. I mean, just think about it with dividends. To even be bringing in most cases, to be bringing in $30,000, $40,000 a year in dividends, you have to have hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million invested into your portfolio to make that happen. And so at that point, I would consider someone with that size of portfolio to be wealthy. I would. I would also consider them probably to be rich too. I don't know. Maybe rich is more like I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to distinguish between the two exactly. Let's see here. Just keep going. I'm gonna get back to this crypto thing. Oh, okay, so it's called Fed Now, I think. Okay. JB just got into dividends recently. Love the channel, Ryan. Thank you, JB. I'm glad to hear you've gotten into dividends, and I'm glad to hear you're enjoying the videos. I really appreciate the support here on the channel, and that goes for all of you guys as well. I really appreciate all you guys. Luis says, for a digital currency, I stick to Bitcoin, if any. Yeah, the Ghost of Toby says there's a lot of talk about gold and silver. Is this on your investment radar, Ryan? At this point, it's not. Toby, I like the idea of collecting gold coins or bars or whatever, and just keeping them in a safe just for the sake of being a collector. But in terms of an investment, I don't know that that's something I'd want to do. But I like it. It seems like a fun thing to get into. So let's see. Okay, Benny, it's called that's what it is. Central bank digital coin or central bank digital currency, and I'm against it. They take our freedom. I prefer to pay cash. That's a thing that I whenever I see this brought up, that's the thing that's always brought up. It establishes another level of control over the people who use that currency. At that point, if everything's digital, it's easy for whoever's in control of all that to just switch things off for you. That's what I see when that stuff gets talked about. So, Sir Dude Bro Man, I think cryptos will eventually be commonplace and probably more common is what he says than they are now, but they need to be heavily regulated like more traditional currencies are today. Yeah, I'm seeing pretty much negative stuff about the digital currency. It's too dangerous. I'm old school when it comes to money. Hero of the table, you can have financial freedom while living frugally. It doesn't mean that you are wealthy. You can have, let me think about this. You can have financial freedom while living frugally. Yeah, I think obviously financial freedom comes easier if you live frugally. It doesn't mean that you are wealthy. Well, then that's the thing. Maybe let's define wealth, hero of the table. Let's put that in the live chat if you don't mind. Then with that, what is the definition of wealth here? Let me actually Google that. What is wealth? Wealth, according to just Google Dictionary, an abundance of valuable possessions or money, the state of being rich, material prosperity, plentiful supplies of a particular resource. So if that's the definition we're using, I guess it's relative on what you consider to be an abundance. Lou says U.S. digital currency is coming, just not before I die. Just not before I die. So good luck, children. Okay. Fast Eddie, wealthy to me is somebody that has enough money they'll never spend. Their kids will never spend it. Their grandkids will never spend. Shamir, you can always pet the gold. That's true. That's true. Gold is like cats in that way. You can always pet gold. You can always pet cats. And I got Peanut right over there. You can't see him. He's over there taking a little nap. Ray says, I have hundreds of silver quarters. I'm such a nerd. And see, I think that's cool. Like, as from an investment standpoint, I don't really care about it as much from that perspective, but I think it'd be a cool thing to have a safe just of gold and silver, just kind of a cool thing to collect. Diego says, hey, finally made it to a live stream. Good to see you here, Diego. Let's see. Wealth is a mindset. I like Ryan. He doesn't say, my way is the only way, like some folks. He has perspective, and I like that. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that, man. I just, I don't know. I try to keep an open mind, especially as someone who still has so much to learn about this stuff. So, I don't know how I could ever possibly say my way is the only way. I think with investing, too, there's obviously different, everyone has different objectives with their goals with their investing. This is something I've been thinking about more lately. Some people invest with the intent to beat the market. Others invest with the intent to just build up cash flow. And I think there's more than one way to measure success. There's more than one way to measure progress. There's more than one way to measure growth when it comes to investing. And this is one of the reasons I particularly enjoy dividend investing. I don't know if I'll beat the market. There's been years where I've done it. This year I may not. But I like the fact that for me to reach my objective or get to where I'm trying to go, which is ultimately is financial freedom, where my passive income is greater than my active income, or rather my passive income can pay all my bills. That is specifically how I think about it. Can cover my expenses. I can do that without having to beat the market. And so I think there's with that said, and there's more than one way to do things. And I don't know. I try not to pass judgment on what others do, whether it's crypto or whether it's just investing in growth stocks or whatever. I think everyone's got a different way of doing things, and you know, everyone's got what works for them. It's just like I always like to make comparisons between investing and working out, because that's one of the things I know best. And I know it doesn't look like it, but I've been into health and fitness for about a dozen years now, consistently working out. Usually work out twice a day, and there's a lot of parallels between the two. And just in the same way, like you can be a weightlifter, right? You can be a weightlifter, but within that, there's so many subcategories. You can be into bodybuilding, you can be into powerlifting, you can be into strongman, you can be into Olympic lifting, Olympic weightlifting. There's so many different styles of lifting, and there's different styles of investing too. There's dividend investors, there are day traders, there are those who are into crypto, there are real estate investors. You know, there's so many different ways to invest. And it's true, you do have to find what works for you. And people are going to, this is certainly something I've learned here on YouTube. People are always going to think that, well, this is true with anything. People often think that their way of doing things is better than others. And it may be the case, but there's no denying that, at least for my purposes, I'm speaking personally, there's no denying that I'll still be able to reach financial freedom and have my dividend income, pay my bills, even if I never beat the market. It's still possible to get to where I'm trying to go. So, sorry for the tangent. Let's see. I see Ren asking this question a couple of times. So, as a 13-year-old, what is the best dividend stock to spend $50 on right now? I want the most dividends possible. Ren, take a step back here. I get it. You want the most dividends possible. You want to be bringing in the most amount of cash flow right now that you possibly can. But my friend, you've got a lot of time on your hands. You have so much time. Don't worry about having the most income right now. You've got all the time in the world to let your dividend snowball slowly, stably, reliably grow and compound. Over the long term, Ren, you will be much better off investing in something with a higher dividend growth rate than a higher dividend yield. As far as the best way to spend $50 right now, I don't really know. But man, I think in your shoes where you're at, I don't know if you've just started investing or how long you've been doing this. I know you said you have about $1,000 invested, but I would heed the same advice that I gave earlier. Not advice, but I would take the same strategy that I was talking about earlier in this stream. Man, just SCHD and VU. Just rock with that. Or even just VU, or DGRO and VU, or SCHD and DGRO, or SCHD and VIG. Just go the ETF route. Keep it simple. By the time you're my age, the next 16 years, man, I would imagine your yield on cost, which I look that up if you don't know what yield on cost is. It's basically the amount of your cash flow return based on your initial investment. Your yield on cost will likely be greater than and higher than the dividend yield of something like a high yielding stock. Let's use JEPI, something like JEPI that has a 9, 10, 11% yield today. Your yield on cost 15, 16, 20 years from now, when you are 30, 33, still super young, it's going to be higher. And don't even get me started what that's going to look like when you're, in your 40s. So you're going to be fine. Hero of the table, I guess it depends on perspectives. Going back to what is wealthy. Some people can live off $40K a year. You don't need piles of cash to do that. I would disagree. I think you need a pretty big pile of cash to be pulling $40,000 in passive income per year. Multiple six figures. I consider that to be a pile of cash. Benny here said, and really, Hero, it's not worth arguing. I mean, I really don't even know what the discrepancy is here anymore. Let's just move on. Benny, just had a quick question with my wife. Ryan, which do you prefer, Lowe's or Home Depot? My favorite has always been Lowe's. She loves Home Depot, but both are great companies, I guess. I think that's exactly it. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I personally have Lowe's in my portfolio. Home Depot's still a great company, but you can't. I really don't think you can go wrong either way. So Let's keep going here. Kevin, this is interesting. It's from experience. I've been living on $1,600 a month for about a decade. Living on $32K a month would blow my mind. Yeah, that'd be wild. I would probably put half of it in the bank at most and pay cash for everything after that. Yeah. Buy the same stock. Yeah, Thomas, this is a good point. That's the beauty of it. To reach financial independence, you don't have to win the race. You just have to cross the finish line. Yeah. Biggie, going back to the lifting comparison. CrossFit, yeah, it's another style of lifting. My man, Professor G, Nolan, I don't think he's in here right now, but he's a big CrossFit guy. I like bodybuilding, powerlifting stuff. Everyone's different, you know. There's more than one way to skin the cat, as you guys will have heard me say before. So. And here's Dominique with an alternative definition of wealth, a good one too. Wealth is being healthy, happy, being well surrounded, being able to pay our bills without worry, and living a fulfilling and meaningful life. I like that. That's a really holistic approach to being wealthy. So thank you for sharing that. Hunter says, hey Ryan, I noticed in some of your portfolio breakdowns that you don't reinvest some dividends back into the same stock. Do you take that income and put it in better buying opportunities? Yeah, Hunter, that's exactly what I do. Maybe 6 months, I don't know, sometime in the last year, I turned off the automatic reinvestments into my portfolio. And now I collect the dividends and just redistribute them back into my portfolio in other ways. I find that it helps me be more attentive with where the money in my portfolio is going. And there's some positions that I do that because there's some positions I just don't want to build up any more of. Like, I wouldn't want to reinvest any more dividends back into Intel or 3M right now. Or I'm fine with the size of my JEPI position as well. I don't want to reinvest dividends back into there. So I just take those dividends and I put that into other things in my portfolio. So, Lucas, are you going to tell your Marg story? Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Before I tell that, though, just real quick, guys, I'm noticing it's about 5:50. We've got about 10 more minutes left in the stream tonight in the happy hour. But then immediately after this live stream ends, we will be keeping the party going with the after party, which is a Patreon exclusive bonus live stream that we do every single week. There's a free trial to join the Patreon community. It's a lot of fun. Every week I've been doing portfolio reviews over there. We have a really fun one on deck for tonight. But if you guys want to check it out, there's a link to the Patreon in the description of this video. And no harm, no foul. It's, like I said, a free 7-day trial. You can tune in tonight, see what it's all about. If you like it, you can stick around. If not, you can just cancel. I don't even know if they make you put in your card info, to be honest. I think they do. But still, you could always cancel if you don't want to. So the margarita story. It's not a crazy story, Lucas, but let me actually take a sip of water real quick. So a couple days ago, I got a random message from someone on Instagram. I didn't know who they were. They just randomly reached out to me and said, hey, there's this new restaurant, this new upscale Mexican restaurant opening up at the Palms Casino Hotel here in Las Vegas, right off the Strip. And, would you want to come to the soft opening? All you got to do is make a reservation, food's comped and everything like that. So I'm like, I almost thought it was a scam. I didn't even think it was real. I've never been invited to anything like this before. And so I was like, heck yeah. So I made a reservation for 2 for earlier this afternoon, and my fiance and I went. And really cool place. The place is called La Popular. Luis, I think you're in Mexico City. They started in Mexico City, this restaurant. Started in Mexico City. They have one I know there's one in Roseville, California, which is right near my hometown. And then there's another one somewhere here in the States. I don't remember where. But then they just opened this one in Las Vegas. But really good food. So we go there, sit down, really cool spot. It's like it overlooks the pool at the Palms Casino. Just really nice view. And chips and salsa were bomb. They had like 4 different salsas, each one ranging in different levels of spice. And I like things spicy, but they had this really good one that had soy sauce in it, of all things. Super delicious. So we get tons of chips and salsa, a big thing of nachos, two different entrees. Had a couple tacos, and a couple carne asada tacos, and enchiladas, basically cheese enchiladas. And then we had a couple margaritas that were so bomb. And like I said, it's not a crazy story, but fun thing to happen. So earlier this afternoon, it was a fun way to spend a Friday afternoon. Just go down to near the Strip, which I love going down to the Strip. I'm gonna go back down there this weekend and have a few more margaritas. Go down to the Strip, have a good lunch, check out this new cool place, have a few margaritas, throw a couple back. It's a really fun way to spend the afternoon. Then I came back, guys. I was so stuffed. I was borderline food coma, slight buzz, and took like a 30-minute nap. I had to do it. But that's my story. Just kind of little Friday afternoon. So, like I said, not a crazy story. It's basically just here's how I spent the Friday. So, let's see here. What did I miss? Ray says, "Dang, you're Hollywood now." No, it's crazy. I was wondering. I asked the lady, because the lady who invited me there. I asked her, so how did you? Because they reached out to me on Instagram, which I'm really not that active on. I'll post stories every once in a while, but nothing crazy. And so I asked her, how did you even stumble upon my portfolio? How did you even stumble on my Instagram account? And I still don't really know quite how she did, but in my bio, it's in my Instagram bio, it's a few things. It just says I live in Las Vegas. It's my interest, margaritas, like affinity for margaritas and dividend stocks. And so she told me, I saw that you like margaritas, so I thought I'd reach out. I was like, yeah, well, anytime you need me to test out some margaritas, I will be there in a heartbeat. So, Luis, Guadalajara, but I may go to Mexico City soon. What's the name? It's called La Popular. Basically popular, but, with a little English, not English, little Spanish flair to it. La Popular. So, let's keep going here. Fast Eddie, Ryan, do you gamble? No, not really. Really not a big gambler. I do like playing blackjack, but gambling's just too stressful for me. If I had more money, honestly, I probably would gamble a little bit more. If I had a little bit more to blow, essentially, I wouldn't mind, The couple times that I've gambled since moving to Vegas, I've actually done pretty well. Last time my parents came, my mom was just like, here's $20, go gamble. And I sat down at the blackjack tables and turned that into, I think, like $80 in like 10 minutes, which I was like, and you know how it gets when you kind of get on a little roll, you're like, you kind of start seeing the dollars and say, okay, I could probably get this up to, I could probably keep it going, but I just quit while I was ahead. So, not a big gambler though. Yeah, Anthony says, all joking aside, I consider you rich. House, wife, family, no more day job, and free time to learn. You're a big inspiration. Anthony, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I feel extremely fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. I hope I can do this. I hope I can do this forever. I hope I can sustainably do it forever. I don't have a house yet. I'm still renting, but sometime this year I'm going to be buying. We're actually going to get the process going on that sometime in the next month or two. But, doing YouTube, I'm a huge proponent for anyone doing something like this, whether it's YouTube or starting a blog or a newsletter or a podcast or something. I think there's ways to do something like this that's not as time intensive, because YouTube is very time intensive. I think everyone could have like an email newsletter and only spend an hour or 2 hours on it per week. And you could definitely monetize that. But I feel partially semi-retired. It's a lot of work doing this, and it does take up a lot of time. But man, it certainly beats. I don't know. I would rather do this than so many other different things. So I feel very fortunate. I'm just trying to see how long I can keep it going. So Gato says, Ryan, say hello. Gato, what is up, my friend? I'm happy to see you. Thank you for tuning into the stream tonight. I appreciate you guys. Ray says you're the GOAT. Man, you guys are the best. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So all the support. I wouldn't be able to do this and keep doing this if it wasn't for you guys, and that's certainly not lost on me. So like I said, I feel extremely fortunate to be in this position and to be able to do this. So let's just see how long it keeps going. I've been, I started doing this full time back in October, and you guys might remember too. I I was like, I'm just gonna. I didn't plan on going full time with it back on October. It just kind of happened, and let's just see how long. I told myself I'll just give it till December if I can, grow it, and if things are going in the right direction by the end of December, start of this year, I'll keep it going, and haven't stopped. So let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens, guys. Just kind of taking it as it comes. But worst case scenario, and this is why I'm a huge proponent for something like this. You can get to a point, whether it's this or a newsletter or something. It's just like dividends. Even if it's not completely replacing your income, it can help offset. It can be something. An extra $500 a month from dividends is definitely something. If you have a newsletter or a YouTube channel, you're making an extra 500 or 1,000, or it's not unrealistic, guys, to make a couple $1,000s a month doing this just from ad revenue in the YouTube space, just in the finance space. I mean, it's not unrealistic. I promise you guys. If I can do it, really anyone can do it. And even that, you could take that plus your dividend income. You probably don't want to take your dividends, but you could take that. And that could be something that could allow you to go part-time into your job or find a low-key job. And I think that's where I'm at now, where worst case scenario, if I had to go back and get a job, just go get, could do like a barista fire sort of thing. It's really really cool feeling. And I hope that, just hope that it keeps going. So maybe like one or two questions. We'll wrap it up. It's 6 o'clock right now. We're about to jump over to the after party, which once again, I'd love to see you guys over in the after party. There's the link. It's in the top of the description right there. Just click it. It'll take you to the Patreon. Free 7-day trial. Zay, would you sell your portfolio for a real estate play? Zay, I've thought about this quite a bit, and I would prefer not to. I've worked really hard on my portfolio. I love having this dividend portfolio. I don't think I'd ever want to sell it for a real estate play if I didn't have to. I just don't see why I would have to, but I don't think I would. Now, here's my plan with real estate. I'll tell you real quick. So, planning to buy, me and my lady are going to be buying probably just a condo to start, or our first place, probably a condo. Get something that's going to be, buy something. Our goal is to pay it off as quick as possible. Hopefully, it'll take us 3 years, maybe 5 years max. Who knows? Excuse me. Pay it off as quick as possible. Eliminate that overhead, that big overhead. Use that money, stack some cash, either invest more with that cash or save up for a down payment on our next place, buy our second place, keep the first one as a rental, and kind of hopefully use that to kind of snowball into building more of a real estate portfolio. So we'll see how the plan plays out. I'd love to keep you guys posted on the channel. I don't know if you guys would ever be interested in hearing about real estate on this channel, but yeah, I'd love to keep you guys posted on all of those happenings. So we'll see what happens. Every Friday, do fun live stream. Ryan, start a fitness channel. I've thought about that. I don't know if I ever would, though. I don't know if I would. But anyway, guys, I think this is, yeah. Luis says do a vlog in the buying process. Okay, I'll consider that. I'd even, yeah, I would highly, I'm open to anything. I'm open to trying anything. I just know historically we've kept this only dividend investing, but as I evolve and as I expand beyond into other things, I'd love to talk about other things with you guys and see how this channel continues to evolve. I think that's just, thinking long term, I think it's important to continue to evolve. Just as investors, as creators, as individuals, and all of it, I'd love to share with you guys. Luis, would love to buy something in Vegas at some point as a rental property. You should, man. Luis, let's talk about it. Maybe we'll go in on it together, man. That'd be fun. But anyway, guys, I need to wrap it up because I got to get ready for the after party. But you guys, link in the description. I seriously, if you guys want to keep talking about this, we can do this in the after party. We're going to be doing a portfolio review, but after that, it's just Q&A. I'd love to keep talking about this with you guys. I'm not ready to turn this off yet, but I have to. Got to go over the after party. But yeah, love to see you guys over there. Definitely tune in. It's free to join, 7-day trial. Otherwise, if I don't see you over in the after party, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I really appreciate all of your guys' support here. This was a really fun live stream. Really fun stream tonight. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Sunday's video, which is going to be the best stocks to buy in July. It's going to be a really good video, so definitely tune into that. But otherwise, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.